How's it going, everybody? My grandfather and I are very excited to be with you guys today. I'm a fourth generation in the forestry business and third generation my grandfather's business. And this is a picture of me about a year old in 1996. My grandfather is also a photographer on the side, and so he used me as the model for his new tree seed processor. And thanks to Derwood, Delaney, a lot of child labor laws were invented because he always worked his sons. But without further ado, I'm going to let Mr. Derwood, Delaney speak a little bit, then I'll follow up with him.
Family history.
There we go. See if you can put it
My
back.
dad
Yeah, put it.
joined the Louisiana Forestry Commission in 1923. They worked for him in 25 years. He produced 100 million seedlings. And this was a pretty good record back then. Of course, now you have some of these big nurseries that can do that in 1 year. And he was blessed in knowing Dr. Phil Wakely, who helped him in the gathering and processing of seed. Back then, you had to, if you was a nurseryman, you had to collect your own seed and clean and get it ready to plant. And he also used his 2 horses. The state of Louisiana didn't give him a tractor or anything. He used his 2 horses to plow his nursery. We lived about a mile away from the nursery, and he'd ride the horses to the nursery, plow the ground, and then ride his horses back. And this is a letter from the governor, Earl Long, commending him on growing this many seedlings in 25 years. This is a picture of the Louisiana Forestry Commission in the 1950s collecting seedlings. Fast forward, the Louisiana Forest Commission company was established in 1983, and then when I started, I had 3 major pine species: slash, loblolly, and longleaf. And of course, through the years, we expanded to over 200 different species. And of course, back in the 80s, there was a lack of information on different species of tree seed. And the Woody Plant Manual, which went out of production, put a bind in people finding out how to handle seed. And then back, they came out with the Handbook 727, which is a new copy that you can get on your internet by that going on the thing up above. Now, in the Woody Seed Manual, you can find out the growth, habit, and occurrence and the uses of the different species. And the geographic range of it, flowering and fruiting, collection and extraction and storage, pre-germination, treatment and germination test, and your different nursing practice. Last few weeks I've been in the office. We received a phone call from a customer that bought some seed and was wondering why it wasn't germinating. I heard Gary ask him, said, particular seed needed stratification, which he didn't know. And then another time, John answered the phone, and this guy told me he wasn't getting hardly any germination on his seed. He asked him, he said, well, did you stratify it? He said, oh yeah, 5 weeks. 5 weeks, that's 35 days, 5 and 7, 35. But according to the Woody Seed Manual, it took 60 days to stratify this seed. So that's the reason he didn't get good germination. Then we get another call from a gentleman, and I was able to talk to him later at this meeting. He had some acorn seed bought from us and wondered why they weren't germinating. John asked him, he said, well, did you keep the moisture up? Well, yes, the moisture was okay. How did you store it? Oh, I put it in the deep freeze. And of course, the deep freeze will automatically kill acorns. That's why we have 4 coolers and 2 freezers for the different species of tree seed that we have. Some you can freeze, some you can't. And what gets me a lot of times is these big companies will spend thousands of dollars spreading their orchard and getting everything ready. And when it comes to the main part, collection of the seed, collection of the cone, and they'll have, say, a slash orchard which comes in February, and contractor will come in and he'll get in September, and he'll pick the cones, and he said, oh, let me go ahead and start with the lot. And they'll think, well, okay, that'll be good. Finish up 4 deer season. And of course, when they get their results back from Maine, their seed yield is down, their germination is down. What happened? You collected the seed too early. So always keep in mind that you need to go to the okay, now we're going to the why do you need direct seeding? I started in the seed business back in 1958. At that time, thousands of acres were barren. It was a practice back then, cut all the trees out, don't worry about replanting, just move on to where there's more timber to cut. And at that time, they estimated that it would take anywhere from 40 to 50 years to replant by hand all this land that needed to be replanted. And so with the push to get all this land to be replanted, they came up with direct seeding. This was pushed by Dr. Bill Mann and James Barnett with the Southern Forest Experiment Station. And we was able to replant all this land in about 10, 12 years. And then it took back to regular row planting with your seedlings. But this year, we came up with something very special. The state of Louisiana, you go down to New Orleans and you see all these beautiful homes built with the cypress lumber. Well, they did the same thing that they did with the pine. They cut these cypress trees and did not reforest. And consequently, Louisiana is paying for it right now. They're losing land every year to the ocean. These cypress trees had massive root system that held the soil in. And so they realized the mistake that they had made. And this year, we sold to the Lake Pontchartrain Foundation some cypress seed and some water tupelo. And they're going to direct seed on this seed along the coast to try to get some pre-germination. And of course, hopefully we'll get a positive effect from this. There are three main methods of direct seeding. One is aerial, which is a plane or helicopter. Helicopter is more efficient in this method. Mechanical, they use tractor or ATV, and hand sowing is Cyclone or just spot seeding.
I'll be taking over this part. And so, with direct seeding, there's a lot of pros and cons we have to weigh. We have a lot of great companies who have seedlings, and that's really for you as a landowner to make the decision with your local forester for the region you have. So let's go over some of the pros. Number one, it's cost efficient. It's very much more cost efficient to go and direct seed rather than pay a crew to plant the seedlings by hand. So it's not as labor intensive. It's easier access on difficult terrain or sensitive areas. So for Lake Pontchartrain area, it's very hard to get to. A lot of the parts you have to use like a small boat. And so we had a really cool project which we gave 1 million seeds and they direct seeded it because it was very, very hard to get people in there in the swamp and the marsh. And so direct seeding has a great benefit to those areas. It's time efficient and it's a natural root system. And so when you're planting seedlings, one of the things you run into is you're using a pickaxe to dig the ground, and then the root system grows as a J system, and it's becoming better with the species. But with direct seeding, it's like how all our forests were created the past thousands of years. The cons of it, though, is a lack of control of tree spacing and density. So for the Cyclone feeder, you can set different diameters to let the seed out, so your stand is not going to be as populated, it's less dense, or you can have a more dense stand if that's what you prefer. Predation by rodents and birds. Who here is a hunter, or who here has a hunting license? Awesome. So this is a really good excuse to tell your significant other that, hey baby, I planted all these trees, I direct seeded them, and now I have to use my license to kill all these rodents. And so we can help you out there. Weather constraints with your helicopter, and it may not be suitable for high-value genetic seed. And so you don't want to use your must-high market value seeds for this type of work. We have lower genetic seed that is better for direct seeding. And so the estimated sowing rates, you want about half a pound to a pound per acre. And if you get our catalog out back, you can kind of see the prices per seed. And for acorns, though, some hardwood seed, you can't drop from a helicopter. You actually have to bury it at least an inch or two underneath the ground. In time of sowing, it depends, and that's something that we could help you guys out on. Your local forester could advise you. And direct seeding for the future, this is a drone I have. I do some of the video work for the company. But there's a really cool company called Biocarbon Engineering out of England. It's by a NASA rocket scientist who went and formed it, which they're sending these drones with biodegradable pellets with seed inside, and they're going in and shooting them into the ground. And there's also this company called Drone Seed out of Washington, I believe. And so this is the exciting thing about our future. As we approach the difficulty to reforest some of our land and time, drones are hopefully going to make up for it. Another really cool thing is that drones are helping with herbicide. And so when we talk about direct seeding, we want to make sure our land is prepared also. And so some of these drones can literally go over and GPS locate specifically where you need herbicide, rather than just kind of throwing herbicide through a helicopter. It's much more precise, it's lower to the ground if need be, and accessible, and can really help benefit our growing rates for trees in the future. And that is it. And thank you so much. Do you have any last notes?
If you're over in our area, we have the Southern Forest Heritage Museum, which is one of the most complete forestry museums in the nation. We have a sawmill, planer mill, dry kiln, and also we have 3 or 4 other type of forest-related subjects in this. So if you're in our area, we invite you to attend the Southern Forest Heritage Museum, which is about 15 miles south of Alexandria. Thank you.